Oh man, buckle up because I'm gonna do some commentary on the dog sitch in my alley. We got a dog named Bob. We got a dog named Charlie, and they are just yapping away.
Hell yeah! I do really like when people give animals dog names. Or you said it right. Or you didn't even say it, but you knew I said it wrong.
Well, I knew what you meant. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Although, if you got a dog tomorrow, what would you name it?
Steve, I don't know.
You seemed so sure when you said it, like you'd thought about it.
And I have a bit about this, but
I'm the worst.
No, actually, this part's not in the joke, but I always thought this. I have a bit about my first crush having a dog with my name.
Oh yeah, okay.
And so I always thought it'd be funny if my first dog I name after my first crush.
Ooh, I think you have to do that. I think it's legally binding.
It would be hilarious too because it's Kevin. So it'd be like a dog named Kevin.
Something funny about West Dallas today.
Did you?
Yeah.
Do you remember what it was? Nope.
I mean, I truly believe this is another episode.
Uh-huh.
But I'll just say, like, West Dallas, it's a suburb of Milwaukee if you're not, like, from the area. And it has, like, a bad reputation. But it's definitely, like, that younger sibling mentality where, like, people who don't live there cannot say shit about it, but I can.
Right.
Because there's love underneath.
That's right.
Yeah.
And true understanding versus an outsider perspective.
Hey, I lived it.
I know.
That's my life.
I have lived Drew Flaggy though, and so I feel like that's pretty close.
we that's another episode. But I'm sure like being from the UP, like you've got the same thing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I don't mind when people make fun of it though, because that makes sense. That it's
Well, I mean, it makes sense. It's another episode
to a certain extent. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, we're jotting down ideas. That's good. What's today's episode about, Dana?
Today's episode is about everybody's favorite thing to just talk about at parties.
Oh, yeah.
Study abroad.
Brag time. Study abroad. I'm conflicted about this.
Do I know that?
Oh, maybe you don't know about this.
Well, I knew how conflicted you were about, not even conflicted, but college. But, I don't think we've really talked prior to this about your study abroad experience.
Maybe I haven't. You are one of the few friends I have that actually has studied abroad.
Well, and there's a caveat to that.
Because maybe there's people I don't know about.
Well, and also mine wasn't a semester long. Mine was short.
Mine wasn't either.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, cool. Now we're like equals. No. Otherwise, if you had gone longer than me, this would have been the ACT situation all over again.
Yeah, you're trying to big dick me. And
there we go. No, but I've also never dated somebody who studied abroad, and then you try to share this really meaningful experience. And you just come off as such a douchebag.
Yeah.
It's the worst. It is the worst. But we're just gonna talk about it today. Let's also not pretend I'm not paying on loans that went towards a study abroad experience that I could have done as a 20-year-old for literally a fraction of the price. So at the end of the day, if there's anyone who should feel bad about study abroad, it's me. You know what I mean? Because it's so much more expensive to travel as a student than to just go. Although you don't get to take the class, which is something maybe when we talk about the length of stay, I wanna ask you your take on.
Yeah, no. I mean, this brings up a lot of interesting points. I think it can be obviously be done different ways.
Yeah. No.
No, no.
One way.
Or the highway.
And you study one place. No. Where did you go?
Okay, so for me, like I said, it was not a semester abroad. In fact, it was a mere 2 weeks.
Oh my god!
So now you're back on top.
I thought you were gonna say 2 months, and then okay.
Nope.
That's cool though. 2 weeks.
Well, because tell me about so at Carthage, where we've talked about how I went there for college. January is called J term, and I know other colleges like have J term, but at Carthage it's like a big thing. It's a big thing where like between the fall and the spring, you can take a J term class or not. Mm-hmm. But it's a time to take like one fun class on campus or do your short-term study abroad. Okay. And so every year there are like a number of trips you can go on. And the one that I went on was to Puerto Rico.
Cool.
And it was for...
Do you speak Spanish? Or well,
no.
they don't speak straight. Well, is it
no,
Spanish?
they have English
but
and
it's
Spanish.
A dialect?
A lot of people.
Okay, but it's a specific dialect in Puerto Rico.
Not that I
compared to Mexico. I feel like that's a thing, but I might be wrong.
Well, if it is, I didn't even have to get into it because the class was called like filming beyond tourism or something. So it was like half a film class and half a Spanish class. Okay. And you could go either way on it. Like half of us were there for film, I was there for film, or you could get like a Spanish language credit. So like the people who were there for the Spanish part had to speak Spanish like the whole time they were there, or at least like doing stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
But that wasn't me, so I didn't have to do that.
What did you have to do in the film class?
Well, the idea was that you would be... we as a class would be filming like a documentary about like what it's like for someone to visit Puerto Rico for the first time. So
I'm sorry.
Why are you laughing?
I can just imagine like a student just walking around and being like, like look at this food, and then you just like go to the beach and you're like, this is cool.
You're not even like that far off. Well, there were two things. So like as a class we were doing like a documentary, and so the idea was like at any time a third of us were filming.
Okay.
A third of us were...
One camera?
No, multiple cameras.
Okay.
A third of us were interviewing locals.
Okay.
And the people with the cameras would shoot it, along with other stuff, like B-roll of whatever we were doing. Cool. And then a third of us would, like, upload that footage and edit it.
Okay.
And then,
and
we
rotate
would
through
switch.
These roles.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the idea. And then on the side, each of us had our own short film that was supposed to be on some subject of Puerto Rico, and mine was on food because, as you know, I'm a terribly picky eater. So it was like, watch Dana like eat all this stuff she's not used to, and figure that out. So
yeah.
But I mean, as far as the class part, I mean, we shot hours upon hours upon hours of footage.
This sounds like a nightmare.
I mean,
how many of you were there?
22.
All people rolling cameras as much as possible. Are you kidding me? That is a nightmare.
So the editors, right? When it was your time to edit, like you didn't even get to edit. Your whole time was just trying to upload the footage from the camera and then
organize it maybe a little.
Sort of, but even that, I mean, can you just imagine like the hours and hours? And you can.
Yes.
Yeah, you actually can. It's like I forgot.
As somebody who worked in video, yes.
And so then, like, when we came back from Puerto Rico, there was like 1 week left of class.
Okay.
But I mean, we all finished our short individual projects, but nothing ever happened with the documentary because it was just impossible.
Yes.
It was just impossible. It would have been super cool.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll get into it. Like, amazing things happened on this trip.
Right.
But
That didn't.
Documentary ain't getting made for a number of reasons.
You can't, like, go... Did you guys have a plan? Like, or were you just like, go out and see what you can find? Because that's gonna kill any project. You gotta, like, have a plan.
I mean, there was some of both. I mean, sometimes it was like, just whatever you find, and sometimes it was like, no, this is what we're getting. It was a shit show in that respect.
I can't even imagine how much bad B-roll was generated in that one weekend that will never see the light of day.
And the worst part is, so like that week when we got back from Puerto Rico, and we're all just trying to finish our individual projects.
Yeah.
We're all trying to go through that fucking B-roll to find what pertains to our subject.
Yeah.
It was miserable. And it's like, and we had like 3 huge external drives that were like, are you done with that yet? I need to check that. And it was just, so I would say that, like, if we're speaking academically, that class piqued a lot of my interest in film, and I did learn a lot about editing when I was doing my own project, but like the goals of that class were not met.
Yeah, no.
And I really don't even think for the students who were there for the Spanish part that it did that much for them. Okay. You know, 2 weeks in a Spanish speaking place isn't a lot, and then plus a lot of the people would just speak English to them.
Because they knew, yeah.
So, I mean, academically, I don't know.
Don't know.
But it was pretty damn cool otherwise. And we'll get to that.
What grade did you go in?
It was my sophomore year of college. I turned 20 on that trip because my birthday's in January. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the same. That is the same age. I was 20 when I went on mine. So
okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so young and impressionable.
Oh, yeah. Just a wee babe. Mm-hmm. Wee babe.
Simpler times.
Could you party down there?
You could. I didn't.
Were you allowed to go to the bars?
Yeah, because in Puerto Rico, I think the age is 18.
Is 18?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So... like all of my classmates were drinking all of the time, but I still had not like had alcohol at that point. So there was like me and one other girl who really didn't do that. But I mean, now looking back, knowing what it's like to be drunk and knowing that like all of my classmates were constantly, I'm like, you probably missed some stuff, or you were probably like feeling hella hungover while we were doing cool stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't totally regret that.
Yeah.
I had a full, clear-eyed experience of it all. But I definitely can get into things that happen, but I kind of want to talk about the basics of your experience, where you went, how long, what you were supposed to be studying there. And
did not. Yeah.
Did not. I mean, has anyone ever?
No. That's not the point of one of, like, I don't even think that's really the point of a semester-long study abroad experience, is really to learn that much, so much as have experiences. Yeah. I mean, you're working with only so much time, and you're in a foreign country, so you just want to do shit. You don't want to, Why would you read a book about a country or whatever that you're in? But I went to Ireland. For a little, my program I think was only 7 weeks, but I think I went just over 2 months.
Okay.
And which was a mistake. We'll find out at the end. Should have left. Should have left at the end of the program. But I went to Ireland. I stayed in Dublin for all of those weeks except for one that was in Belfast, which is in Northern Ireland, technically separate from Ireland.
Oh, I was gonna say technically a different country.
Yeah, literally a different country. Really not that different. Actually, it wasn't. Like, it's, I think to an American, you're like, oh, it's very, I don't know, like, there's not a ton of different, it's not like going from, like, you know, Ireland to Spain. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But actually the people and the climate was surprising. It might have just been the weather that week, but it was a lot colder than I thought. And I was like, this is kind of
I believe
weird.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, but yeah, so I went there because I wanted to study abroad, and I had a friend who I worked with in a dining hall that told me that she did that program and she loved it. She's actually living in Scotland now.
Oh, wow.
She's going to grad school
really
in
took
Scotland.
to it.
Yeah, she was like 100% like, this is what I want to do. Yeah, I want to like be here. But yeah, so we stayed at Trinity College in Dublin.
Oh shit!
Yeah, it's like the fancy one. James Joyce went there. Yeah, I believe he went. Yeah, he went to Trinity. Because there's like the two main competing colleges, and like everybody famous who's Irish went to one of the two. So
wait, what's the other one?
It's
you remember?
I don't. It was like literally. It's like considered the poorer one. Like, yeah, it's like not as well known, because I think like the prestigious ones are Trinity and Dublin, and then there's I forget the name, Glasgow, and then the other one's the other major one is in Glasgow. And that's so at Madison, where I went to school, you could either go to Ireland and you could go to Trinity in Dublin for this summer program. And only the summer, not a school year program.
Well, I was gonna say, especially for like 7 weeks, like it couldn't be.
No, yeah. And then, or you could go to Glasgow for a full semester.
Okay.
At the like on the coast. It's so different because like Dublin is obviously metropolitan, and it's also like really, I would say milder weather. The coast, the west coast there is really rough, and cold, and it would be a winter. You'd like be going there into winter, and
You're like, I already get that.
Or maybe it was spring, actually. I don't remember, but I just remember like when I was there asking people like, should I have done the whatever, and they were like, no, no, enjoy the summer. Like the summer was, they were like, absolutely do the summer.
It sounds like. Yeah. Like, out of all the choices you just presented, like, those are the ones I would do. Yeah.
Easily.
Dublin, Trinity, yeah.
It was cool. So, yeah, and then the classes I took there were, like, there was a variety you could choose from, but not a ton. And it was all just, like, Irish lit, Irish history, Irish art. Yeah, basically that was all it. I mean, there was more than that, but it's...
Did you, like, literally read Dubliners when...
I did. I did.
Even the way you said I did sounded Irish.
I did.
I did.
You know what the saddest part of that trip was, is I bought the books... I believe I bought them in the U.S. super cheap. I can't remember exactly where I got them. Mm-hmm. It might have been in Dublin, now that I think of it. I have such a shit memory, but this trip is part of the reasons why. But yeah, I got the books. No, I think they actually was in Dublin that I got it, because I think it was like a weird, goofy publisher. Anyways, and then I took all these tiny notes and like thingies all over the book, stickies and whatever, of my favorite things and like blah, and then I had this accompanying notebook that held all the notes, and I lost my copy of Dubliners in an airport on the way home. It was the saddest thing in the entire world. I'm actually trying to find a bunch of my stuff from that trip, because we would get wasted in the pub and then like write limericks. And I had like a book full of them.
That's a little on the nose, right?
I know, it was really stupid, but yeah, we did it, and actually some of them were pretty hilarious. I don't
doubt it.
In the mental state I was in, I thought they were hilarious. But
well, I'm gonna have to ask you to do your best to find it and then read some on the next episode.
I shan't.
All right, but only because you said you shan't.
Oh, still so much of a cough, but yeah.
Okay.
Does that cover the basics?
It does. It definitely does.
Cool. What's the next part that we talk about?
I don't know, like what really happened.
How stupid you are if you never did it. Fuck you.
Like, why don't you like fucking broaden your
mind?
Yeah. Like, do you not like care about other cultures and like?
Fucking loser. Talking like a hick. Expand your mind.
I know. I was like, that's never been said in quite that way ever. Expand your mind, Raegan.
You fucking racist against Irish people. Sounds like a Rory Scovel bit. That's funny. Okay. Yeah. So what actually happened, though, Dana? Is that the next part?
I guess so.
Storytelling time.
So, Puerto Rico, yes.
No.
Are you familiar? It's an island.
Nah.
Yep, it is. I
hear
assure
it's a
you.
state.
Well, they're trying to be.
I know.
But people...
And they should be.
Even people...
Or do they not want to be?
I mean, some do and some don't.
It's up to them, I would say. Mm-hmm. At this point.
I mean, yeah, they gotta vote on it, and then let's honor whatever they say.
I would say so.
But...
Is it close? Sorry. Is it close, like, the number of people who want to be and the number of people who don't want to be?
Oh, that I don't know. In fact, I'm really just speaking anecdotally because in the interviews that I did with locals, I talked to someone who told me that some people are for it and some people are against it. Oh, so I don't have any stats.
This is like third hand. Okay.
You know, you
didn't do your fucking research.
Well, you didn't bring your fucking limericks.
Bit of pretty shitty documentary, I guess.
Well, why do you think it didn't get made? So you fly into San Juan, the capital.
Yes.
But okay, so what was super cool about this trip was it was 2 weeks long, but we did stay in 4 different cities in 4 different situations, really. So we got there.
Oh god, I love this.
And the first couple days we spent in a town. I think the town was Rio Grande. I think so.
Okay.
It wasn't that far from San Juan, I don't think, but it was on like the northeast part of the island.
Okay.
And we stayed...
the New York of Puerto Rico.
Oh, yeah. And we stayed in, like, what I'm pretty sure was, like, a 5-star resort.
Okay.
Right off the bat.
Really?
That's a really interesting way to start your trip, or an interesting way to build expectations.
I'm sure that was a very authentic Puerto Rican experience.
I mean, it was
not at all tailored toward American tourists whatsoever.
But I mean, I will say,
yeah,
it was incredible. I'll never stay at a place that nice again.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like a mini city.
Yeah.
The way it was right on the ocean, and each like hotel room was like a bungalow.
Okay.
And I mean, it was just
I love that.
Incredible.
Yeah. How many people stayed in a room? Were you cramped in there?
You know, just 2 people to a room.
Hell yeah.
I'm trying to think of how this will come off when I say it. But my roommate, who at the time I didn't know, I went on this trip not knowing anybody.
Okay.
And it terrified me.
Yeah.
Because I was very outside of my comfort zone at the time. I didn't know my roommate at the time. She's since become a good friend, but like there was a situation where she told me it was late at night.
Yeah.
She told me she was coming back to the room.
Okay.
So I was like, well, I'm not even gonna bother trying to fall asleep until you do, because you might be loud coming in. Oh. So I just stayed awake, fully expecting her to come right back.
Yeah.
Like she said.
Yeah.
And she didn't.
Oh.
And time went by.
Yeah.
We're not at home.
Right.
You know, and she didn't come back, and I'm just like starting to worry a lot.
Yeah.
And I ended up waking up another...
Is this the first night?
Second, maybe.
Okay.
Second night.
You're like, my roommate has been immediately murdered.
But you know what? We just pulled it together and had a good trip anyway. But, you know, it was terrifying. I ended up waking up another classmate. Yeah. To just, like, help me figure out what to do. And at first, he was, like, you're blowing this way out of proportion. But then the longer she was gone, he started to freak out, which freaked me out.
Yeah.
And we're trying to text her. We're not getting anything back. We sort of, like, walked a little bit, but we didn't want to get too far away in case we, like, missed each other.
Right.
But then he gets a text back from her, and it's really cryptic. And I was like, holy fuck, like, she has gotten, like, kidnapped.
Yeah.
But
what
like,
did it say?
I mean, I don't remember exactly, but the fact is, like, he had just texted her, like, where are you? Are you okay?
Yeah.
And it was a not straightforward answer.
Oh, yeah.
And it just sounded cryptic enough where, like, maybe it wasn't even her. Like,
yeah.
And so we just freaked out. I mean, hours went by, and finally she just, like, came back. And we were so upset. And she's like, I'm sorry, just... I went to get my towel that I forgot, and the ocean was just so pretty. I just walked along it.
Why would you just say that?
I know, right? Like, I was so pissed.
Yeah. No.
And so that was, like, one of the first nights. We stayed at that resort a couple days, and then we immediately moved to San Juan, the capital, largest city, into one house.
Into one house.
Mm-hmm. So 22 people who have just gone from this 5-star resort,
into
2 people to a hotel room, went into one house.
Oh, no.
And that's when we really, like, came together, though, you know? Like, everybody got to know each other, and everybody started hanging out. Because you had no choice. We were just in each other's faces for
4 days.
4 days. And then the next one is we went to a city in the south. That was just like a Holiday Inn. Okay. So just like a regular hotel experience, but it had a casino in it.
Hell yeah.
What? And then the fourth thing, we were on the western coast, and we had like apartments or like condos, 6 people
into
an apartment. Okay. But it was just like different every time.
Yeah.
It was like rooming with different people.
That's so random.
And it was all over the island. So that was pretty cool. And in between, we had 2 vans.
Yeah.
That's how we got around, was 2 like pedophile vans that could just fit, you know,
22 people.
Yeah, or 24 with the professors, so 12 per van.
Oh yeah, 2 professors with you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And we just drove. Well, and because it's an island and like not that big, you know, like we hit, you know, I mean, same with Ireland's like not that big. Like we hit the whole island
basically,
and there are mountains, there are rainforests.
Yeah.
Like we drove like, you know, like up and around mountains, like on very like precarious ledges and stuff, and
that's awesome.
It was the full thing.
That's spooky though, isn't it?
Oh, like driving like on a ledge in a van that keeps quitting on you?
I did not do that.
Well, the professors mostly drove. Okay. And then when you're going up a mountain, you just try not to think about it.
Right.
I guess.
Yeah.
But so I mean that was cool. And then like I don't know how far I should get into anything else before we go back to Ireland.
I don't know. What else happened?
Well, so then back to when we were...
I'm waiting for somebody to actually be kidnapped.
Well, I mean, there was another scare.
Oh my god!
The
2 weeks? 22 years old?
Yep.
God damn it.
So back to the first place, like when we were in the resort, some things that we did when we were there were hiking in the rainforest. It's called El Yunque.
Okay.
So, and there were waterfalls in the rainforest, very pretty. It has one of the world's, you know, there's only like a handful of what's called a phosphorescent bay. It's one of those where, like, when the water moves, it glows.
Holy shit! Was that awesome?
That was awesome. We kayaked through that.
Hell yeah.
And that was incredible. The water's glowing. There are all these mangrove trees just sticking out everywhere.
Cool.
And then when we were in San Juan and like living in the house, because that was the capital, we did a like their largest street festival. Was
shit.
During that time,
Okay.
and it was like for my birthday.
I'm
too.
a sucker for a street festival. And on your
right?
birthday, that's great.
And Milwaukee's a great place for that.
Yeah.
And then just imagine this was just huge.
Yeah.
And in many places in the street, like just shoulder to shoulder
people.
It's called San Sebastian. That was kind of the
What
other.
does it celebrate?
That's one of the things I should have learned.
You don't know.
And I'm sure I knew at the time. But, just great food and music and art and, lots of drinking for those who were partaking. And, that's kind of...
What's like their drink there? Are they like tequila? Is it like a tequila place? Is there like kind of like a
they make like Don Julio.
Yeah, that is Puerto Rican. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that makes sense.
And I know a lot of my classmates had like a lot of mojitos.
Okay.
And then like their like Miller Lite is called Medalla, and that was
I think I've seen that.
Yeah.
Why have I seen? Yeah, okay.
Have you? Because actually you can't get it here.
Are you sure? Mm-hmm. You cannot get it here whatsoever.
I'm pretty sure.
Medalla? Okay, no. I think it's because when I was living in Madison, there was an authentic I actually don't know if it was like Mexican or Puerto Rican or what, but and they had genuine beer from whatever country the food was.
Yeah.
So it just sounded like immediately familiar, but I mean
maybe.
When you hear something that's like French, you're like, oh yeah, I know that, or like whatever Italian.
It's like you're not gonna go to like Pick and Save and find it.
Okay. Yeah.
And even I tried to get it for a friend for a birthday, and I couldn't even like get it online. But I think if you can get it, it's gonna be at like an authentic place. It was at the street festival, and after that, the second scare kind of happened. Like one of my classmates met a local.
And went off with them.
She met up with him later. So like they hung out at the festival. Then when the night was over, like we like went home, and then she like snuck out at like 2 a.m.
Were you not allowed out?
Not at like 2 a.m.
You had to be in your dorm or wherever. Really?
Yeah.
That is not my experience at all.
Well, but
interesting, because you're 18,
But at the same time, like we're there like with the professors, like we're not just like going to like a class, like we're traveling with them
so
and everything.
That's true, because they're going and they came with you from the university.
Like we're with them, and I mean
they feel responsible.
The other part is like she just like didn't tell anyone. Yeah. Like if you're gonna go meet a guy in a different place, let somebody know.
You should do that if it's in the place you live.
Yeah, that's just universal.
Yeah, if you're going to meet a gal, also tell someone.
Just tell somebody.
No matter who you are or what you're doing. If you're going to meet a stranger, let somebody know. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no.
So yeah, that was another like. Those of us who realized that she had snuck out were just like, what do we do? And we were worried. She did come back.
Yeah.
So the other San Juan thing was, I think it's called El Morro. It's one point in the Bermuda Triangle. It's this old fort.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Right there in San Juan, and it makes up one point of the triangle. So it's just a cool fort you can just explore and climb spooky? Around in.
Haunted?
It's a little spooky, we saw it in the day. So
you didn't need to go at night. You would have. You know it.
I know it.
You should have gone at night.
Well, like, our chaperones probably wouldn't have liked that.
Yeah. Dude, oh man, there's no way I would have gone on my trip if I'd had chaperones. But I was a lot less tame of a 22-year-old. I like wanted to party. That was like my
But at the same time, like, as long as you weren't, like, sneaking out at 2 a.m. without telling anyone, like, you could still, like, party. You. Like, you could still have, you know, drank as much as you want. Like, so that was San Juan. When we were in the third place, I mean, we did some of it. I can't remember where it happened, but, like, we visited, like, a coffee plantation.
Oh, that'd be cool.
And we went to... There's, like, a Puerto Rican baseball league, and it was, like, their World Series.
Oh, hell yeah.
So, like, we went to a game.
That's right up your alley.
Mm-hmm. We, like, up in the mountains, we went to a pig roast.
Oh, that's up my alley.
Yeah. And, you know, we just, like, swam in the ocean.
In the ocean.
The last place we went, where I talked about how we were on the western coast... and we were all in condos and stuff. This was the coolest part of the trip.
Yeah.
It's the last day, and you know, like we're all feeling like family
emotional,
and like emotional. We go out on 2 boats out into the ocean.
Okay.
And we had specifically asked before this trip, like, should we bring our swimsuits? Are we gonna be able to get off the boats and swim?
Yeah.
And we were told no.
Okay.
So we didn't even have them.
Okay.
We're just in our regular clothes. We go out on the boats. It's fun and everything. And then one of my classmates asks, like, one of the captains, like, are you sure we can't swim?
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't care. So we all just jumped in the ocean in our clothes. It's very, like, spontaneous and fun. And eventually we get back on the boats because we're like, okay, it's time.
Yeah.
And then we're, like, continuing to go along, and all of a sudden this fin pops up out of the water. Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
Is
dude.
it a shark?
It's a shark.
No.
No, dude.
No.
I wish everyone could see Raegan right now.
I don't like that at all.
No, you will though. You will. It's not like a great
it ain't
white.
that bitch who didn't tell you where she was going on the second night. No.
She would have deserved. It wasn't a great white or anything, but so
okay.
We don't know that at first, but like a fin comes up, and it's just so surreal to see that thing that you just see in a movie.
Yeah.
But it's actually happening. You're like, oh my god. And
how long was this after you got out of the water, by the way?
Just you wait.
Oh.
Just you don't even know, bro.
Oh my god, no.
And immediately the captains are like, holy shit, because they know more than we do at the time.
Okay.
And the captains jump in. The captains jump in and swim toward it because...
Why would they do that? Because they hate me?
Because they knew it would cause you anxiety 7 years later. Or however long. Because they knew it was a whale shark.
Oh, those ones are cute.
Those ones are cute, but they're also like the
Huge.
largest thing like on the planet.
Yeah. Well, no.
Well, what?
I'm like humpback whales.
Or I guess I meant shark.
They're the largest shark for sure.
Yeah.
Though. For sure they are. Dude, I catch so many of those bitches in Animal Crossing. You don't even fucking know.
I don't know because I don't know what that means.
You ever played Animal Crossing?
No.
All right. Well, somebody who plays it hopefully just got a chuckle. So. All right. Anyways,
I'm sure they did. And so that's why they jumped in because whale sharks, though humongous, like do not attack people.
But who is driving the boat?
Well, I mean, like they stopped the boats. Like we didn't. The boats didn't just keep going.
They're just not like.
And we're not like, oh.
That's so cool.
And then
you guys get back in?
Well, not everybody, but it was just like one by one. So after the captains, my friend Drew was like, I'm going in. And then like my friend Kelly, and then me, where it's just like...
You swam with a whale shark.
We jumped in, and we swam with the whale shark. I mean, he stayed with us for so long. I mean, like we got up...
How close did you touch him?
Yes, and then found out later maybe that wasn't a great thing to do.
Oh, no.
Don't arrest me. Allegedly.
Well, I feel like it's not like a bird. Like, like they say don't, like, baby birds and bunnies, like, don't touch them because of the smell. Like,
well,
doesn't the ocean just wash the smell away?
I think it has something to do with, like, some, like, body oil that they have that is good for them. Or if you touch them, you take some of that. I think they're huge enough.
They're fucking huge. I feel like that's going a little far. What are you, vegan for animal touching? Come on. That's some... somebody's gonna get pissed about this and be like, fuck you so hard, you're killing the whale shark.
But so that's why kids don't touch whale sharks.
Don't touch them, but swim with them.
That's how close we got. And in fact, like, when it would submerge a little, I mean, you could, like, swim in the water on top of it and, like, just see
how much bigger. How much bigger was it than you? Like, I know they're huge, but, like, I have no... Is it, like, the size of this room?
Oh, for sure.
That no one can see?
I mean, they can be, like...
seriously that big?
I feel silly estimating it in case I'm way off, but I feel like they can be, like, 30 feet long.
Let's do a Google.
Or at least 20.
Let's do a Goog.
But either way, I mean, imagine...
Whale shark average size. That is enormous.
Whale shark average size. What are we getting?
41,000 pounds.
41,000 pounds.
I don't know what that means though. The size of me, 18 to 33 feet. Holy shit.
I mean, just imagine yourself in comparison to that.
Yeah.
And I will say...
Holy shit, that's crazy.
And they're very beautiful. They have spots. Like, definitely, we could post a picture.
Oh, yeah. Maybe that'd be a good episode.
The scariest thing was that we had, like, one pair of underwater goggles.
Oh.
And we passed them around. And the scariest thing for me was because, like, I didn't have my glasses on, I don't think.
Okay.
So I wasn't seeing that clear until I had these goggles and I looked down into the ocean.
To
see how clear the shark was in its enormity, and then to, like, look down into a bottomless... Like, I gave those goggles away real fast.
Yes, you could not pay me. The ocean is fucking terrifying. It's the scariest thing probably in the universe.
Well, and I think the only reason I got through is just, like, by not allowing myself to think those things. Like, I think as soon as... So then eventually we stopped. Like, the shark swims away. We get back on the boats.
Yeah.
And what was cool is, like, by now it's getting dark.
Aren't you guys freezing?
No, I mean, it was...
Hot?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, very hot. And it was just, like, it's... The sunset was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not religious or anything, or, like, even spiritual, but it was, like, a couple clouds in an otherwise clear sky, like, went right over the sun, and it just seemed like...
It was for you. I get that.
Like, it was
I get that.
The pearly gates of, like...
Then... Fuck yeah.
And then when the sun went down, then it just started downpouring.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh shit, that's really funny.
Rain means change, does it not?
Oh, I don't know. That sounds like something somebody says when they say they get aches in their knees when it's gonna rain. So I don't know what that means.
Okay, all right.
I believe in it though. That's a really beautiful end of your trip.
Right?
Incredible.
That's how it ended.
Yeah.
That's how it ended.
That's crazy.
Raegan?
That's so emotional.
Oh.
I mean, I guess I had some really beautiful moments on my trip, but no sharks. Oh. I don't even know. I don't know where to start. I don't know. I think, so I also didn't know anybody on my trip.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's...
Did you guys fly together?
Yeah.
Okay, I flew alone.
Oh.
And it was my first time. No, sorry, it was not my first time on a plane. It was my second time on a plane.
But I mean, that's a big, like...
International is big.
Yeah, leap of faith.
For sure. It was more than I thought it would be. And so, yeah, I flew into Dublin. I think the scariest part of my trip happened immediately.
Really?
Yeah, immediately. I had reserved my flight and B&B situation, like, at the same time with this Priceline deal.
Okay.
Or whatever, Travelocity, whatever I had done. And my B&B didn't end up charging me, but also didn't tell me that they had overbooked and that they could not actually allow me to stay that night. And I don't exactly remember the times, but like I think I was getting there at like because that was when I woke up. So like it was a weird time change too.
Oh yeah.
So that's the other problem is like you're there and it was like 10 a.m. I think, and it was whatever. I probably could have found something, but I'm like jet lagged as fuck.
Well, yeah, and you're just generally disoriented.
I'm so disoriented. Yeah, and like the cab driver is like telling me all this shit, and this is like such a anybody who's even like one time gone to Ireland hears this, but two is I was like creeped out by this creep. I thought he was creepy, but then in hindsight he's probably just helping me out, cab driver, because like, you know, in America you say thanks for the ride, and in Ireland and probably I think the whole UK, that means thanks for fucking me. Like a ride is like fucking. Like so yeah. Okay. So the cab driver's like telling me this and I'm jet lagged as shit and I'm like, what?
Why are you talking to me about this?
Yeah. And I'm like a virgin. I'm like a 20-year-old virgin. So I'm like, dude, I'm not like
yeah, like me, like I don't want to talk about that with you right now.
Oh my god, because I was a virgin forever. But it's fine. I'm not. It doesn't bother me.
It doesn't sound like it does.
I had 2 bucket lists for my trip to Ireland, and one was to lose it, and check that one for sure.
Okay. But wait, so before we get to, where did you stay?
They directed me, they're like, go to this place. I showed up there, I was like, what? And I was like, I wasn't mad, but I was just like, I don't know what to do. I was just looking at this old Irish lady, like, you have to help me. Like, I'm so fit. Like, jet lag is a type of tiredness I had never experienced before. I was so exhausted.
Like, feeling like
mental
insane.
fogginess. Like, yeah, so cray. But yeah, so I I don't know, I said cray.
You said it so earnestly that it alarmed me.
Yeah. That was really gross. Sorry about that. Seth, cut that out.
Seth, leave it.
What do you do? But so she just pointed me down the street and I ended up spending like €90, which is like over $100 US on like a place to crash that night, and it totally sucked. But
that does suck.
But yeah, so like that was the worst part, and it only sucked because too is like she didn't give me this immediate solution. Like she wasn't really gonna help me, so it was like a full 45 minutes where I'm like trying to and that's the other thing is I don't have a cell phone yet because I was gonna buy one, and like my phone doesn't work, and they didn't have Wi-Fi. Like it was crazy. It was just like the worst thing. But then everything that was like the worst, crazy, scary thing
out of the way right away.
It happened really fast. But yeah, so then we stayed on Trinity campus. So we basically, with the exception of the week we were in Belfast, which was a very similar situation to what we had in Dublin, it was like kind of like everybody had their own bedroom, but like it was like a bunch of these little bedrooms all connected, and then you all shared a kitchen and a bath.
So you had some shared space.
So yeah, definitely.
That's a good deal, like privacy, but also community.
Totally. But yeah, the Trinity campus is gorgeous. It's like the most historical place and just like beautiful. And when we got there too, it was so crazy because when that part of summer in Ireland, there's like 4 hours of darkness maybe. It's like so bright out all the time. And of course I was 20, so it was like I can legally drink. The first thing I did, actually that day when I went to my B&B, that first day I got there, I passed out. I woke up and I immediately went to a pub to go find some locals.
Of course.
Eat dinner and like have a Guinness. Like that was my whole
If
and
you
it was
didn't
amazing.
do that, I'd slap you right now.
That's what you got, especially when you're in Ireland. You got to like fucking have beer.
Oh my god.
So yeah, I went and did that. I drank with like 4 to 6 old Irish Garda, which is what they call police officers, that first night there. And then I met up with a bunch of people. There's like a main drag that's really touristy, and that's of course where we went originally. but yeah, I mean, I don't know. We did a lot of really cool things and saw a lot of really historical. I mean, the National Library's there, the National Museum's there. But I think my 2 favorite things I did was like. I spent one weekend alone, essentially, and my friends were all doing things and touring places, and I just wanted to walk and Little CD. And then my favorite was my dad, his rugby coach in college. I went and stayed with them, and her daughter, I think her daughter's name is Sinead, for like a weekend in, again.
Of course it was Sinead, by the way.
I don't know that it was Sinead, though. I don't remember.
I like to think it was.
It was something like that, though, where it's like, it's an Irish name you would not hear elsewhere. Yeah, it's just been so long since I've even gotten, I really should reach out. So, and then we climbed Caruntuil, which is the highest point in Ireland.
Hell yeah.
And it was great, and we had tea out of traditional Irish teacups on top of the mountain. Like, it was the coolest thing ever. And then, of course, the weekend was complete with, like, the kind of older gent that hangs around those guys and just kept flirting with me and called me a bombshell. His name was Johnny, and he was just, oh my god, it was so like quintessential.
Oh, that sounds
Geraldine has like this whole farm, so like you walk outside of her house and it's just like rolling Irish hills up to the mountains, and that part of Ireland is very hilly and mountainy.
Yeah.
And it was like you were driving up of like a dirt road, like going up into like the frickin' woods, and you're like, is this Pride and Prejudice right now? Like, what the fuck is
Am
happening?
I in a novel?
Yeah, it was just really cool, and yeah, definitely a lot of drinking. Man, I cannot tell you how many nights people would just find me outside drunk, sitting next to a food cart, being that American, like eating a burger and fries and talking about how I was like, yeah, I'm visiting from the United States. It's like, obviously.
Yeah, obviously. Like, you didn't need to say.
Yeah, you're disgusting.
But I mean, would you have it any other way?
No, I had so much fun, tons of live music. My only regret of that trip is Jack Gleason, who plays King Joffrey in Game of Thrones.
Okay, I am not a Game of Thrones watcher, but I can picture who that is.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was in Dublin when we were there, and we were chasing him because people were like, he was here and then he went that way, and we were like trying to kind of find him, and we never did. And I would have been really, really happy to have gotten to meet him. Right? Yeah.
I would have looked for Saoirse Ronan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For Sir who?
Mary. Saoirse Ronan. She was Mary Queen of Scots. You've seen that.
Oh, yeah, she's great.
I love how first you said yeah, and then you were like, who now?
Who now? Yeah. Well, I was like, like, I know that. Also, like, I thought you said Sir character from Game of Thrones that I wasn't remembering, and I was like, how does she know?
Not Game of Thrones.
A character that I don't know. I have been drinking too much. But I wanted to ask you, like, what, I mean, it's great to, like, sit and talk about, like, what we did, but, like, I guess more importantly is, like, why is study abroad something that you would encourage people to do? I actually think I wouldn't encourage people to do study abroad, to be honest with you.
Well, in what way do you mean that?
I think unless you're learning a language, it is a lot cheaper. And I think it's a lot cheaper to, not only cheaper, but you have more freedom. Like, there were certain things I wouldn't have done on my Ireland. Like, I'm glad I did it and blah blah blah. But it's like, at the end of the day, I just kind of wanted to be my own person and have my own it's like, I'm paying all this money to be in this country, and I did, there was so much structure to like the field trips that we went. It's like, I would have preferred to have gone here or blah, and I'm glad for one is because our guides and the professors we had were the most amazing people. I won't deny that at all, but
that's where our experience differed.
Okay. I would have divided my time a little bit different, and it's like, when you're paying that much money to not have total control over is a hard pill for me to swallow. And I think as a young person, just going with a group of friends or even going alone, literally alone, would have been wiser for me, and like, I would have gotten more out of especially in terms of character building and things like that.
Well, that's really I mean, you bring up a lot of points. I mean, as far as literally study abroad, like I was saying, I didn't learn anything like academically that was helpful, but for me, being a 2-week trip in January, I would encourage like someone going to Carthage to do it for sure.
Oh yeah,
because
it's also a lesser financial commitment for you.
Well, and that's the thing too, is like it's definitely a different thing than what you're talking about.
Yeah,
because I would say, as much as it's still like a privilege to be able to do it, I think it cost way less than if I had done it myself.
Yeah.
But because it was like a 2-week thing. But like, you know, if I wanted to go back to Puerto Rico and stay in that resort, it would cost
way more,
like as much or more that alone than doing like that and everything else we did. So I mean, yeah, like as far as the academic part, whether you want to spend a semester to study abroad actually is whatever, but I mean, you know, just the actual act of like traveling somewhere
is super important.
Amazing. I mean, and Puerto Rico is such a beautiful place. I mean, everyone was so nice and friendly and was more than willing to like show us something or teach us something or and just to have all those experiences packed in like 2 weeks that's
a lot.
Dope.
That would be very tired. Like I remember being exhausted getting home from Ireland, but like it was almost like a different exhaust. Like if I had come back in 2 weeks, it would have just been like, whoa, that was a crazy, wild, emotional blah. But like because it was 7, it was more so the tiredness of being like, it's like moving, kind of.
I mean, it's long.
It wasn't quite that long, but it was like
but it's long enough for you to like get settled and like imagine your new reality.
Yeah, I mean, and that was the problem. Just to go back to the money thing quickly, that was the problem why I shouldn't have stayed quite as long as I did, is because I literally ran out of money.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had to like call, and like I'd never any point in college like borrowed money from my parents ever, like unless it was an emergency and then, you know, pay back or whatever.
Right, yeah.
But I had to just call my parents and be like, I'm out. Like, I am out. And I'm here for 2 more weeks. And it was like very scary.
Well, especially just because you're like
I had the money for the hostel set aside, but like food wise, I was like, I am.
Well, and then
I'm
when
out.
you're going across like international lines, you're like, how do you get me money?
Yeah,
you know, like there's an added step of like, how does it transfer? Like,
I was really glad my mom came through for me on that one.
Yeah,
like helped out, but
Marsha.
But overall, I'm so glad I did that trip. It was like,
it's like
great.
Because it's like if you take the academic side out, like travel somewhere.
Yeah.
With the academic side in it, depending on how long it is, you just figure out like if that's worth
what
it to
you want to do. Yeah.
If that's how you want to see the place.
Yeah. That's why I just think if you're learning a language, it makes a lot of sense. But I would think long and hard about if you wanted to. But like I say that, my friend who told me to do that program is now a grad student in Scotland. So I don't know. Maybe I'm a hypocrite. I don't know. Because like. She was the man who made I don't know, or maybe I am. I don't know. Am I? I don't know.
You know, I mean, maybe
she's gonna be my sweet little lady of the week, by the way, since she's the one who got me to go. So Brianna, you're probably definitely not listening. Maybe she's our one listener in Scotland. Holy shit! That would be yeah, I think she's in Edinburgh.
Maybe
that would be really wild. Hey, if it's you, Facebook me, man. Like, let's go.
Well, who do you know in Finland? I want to know, because we have a listen from Finland.
I'm from Finland. My family is.
Okay,
well, We're Finnish.
I mean, shit. Thanks for the international listens, Raegan's side of the cast.
All these connects I made in my one summer program in Dublin.
But I think I just wanted to kind of finish by talking about like personal growth, I guess. I mean, when you were describing how you flew internationally alone. And then you're committing to spending at least 7 weeks in a foreign country, like where you haven't met anyone before who's also doing the program. It's like, that's a big deal.
For sure. I think, too, it really made me feel set apart. My family, most of them have never left the country.
Yeah.
So it was like kind of like this thing that I had already felt like a bit of a black sheep. And like what I wanted to do, and just like not really feeling my place in the world, and like the trip was something that my family typically would never have done, and like doing it gave me a lot of definitely a lot of personal growth, and a lot of feeling like it's okay that I do this other stuff, because look at what I got out of it, like look at all this whatever. Like my family are very much like, we love the UP, we're never, not that they never leave the UP, but like
but like
they're not world travelers by any means. Yeah.
Well, I feel similarly, like, I hadn't, like, been, like, anywhere. And that's still the furthest I've gone is Puerto Rico, but, like, I had not been hardly anywhere. And, I mean, just, like, socially, like, it terrified me to, like, go on this trip with people I hadn't known. And I worried, like, will I even, like, get to know people? And, like, of course, it was amazing. Like, I'm still friends with those people and friends with their friends. Like, the students that I went with. So, like, it's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, it was a big deal.
Dude,
you didn't get eaten by a shark.
I didn't get eaten by a shark, and my sweet little lady, I will say, is Hannah, who was my roommate, who just walked along the beach and didn't come home when she said she was going to come home. But now we're friends.
Hannah.
Now we're friends.
Now you're friends.
But don't do that to me, Hannah. Jesus.
What is that? Do we have a... Hey, let's maybe do our tip of the week. And then I'm getting sleepy.
I mean, tip of the week could be Irish and name Johnny and call people bombshells.
Dude, Johnny gets so much poon. Like,
I just don't like that turn of phrase. But
I've just been watching a lot of South Park, so Mr. Garrison's in my head. But
well, that's the Irish version. The Puerto Rican version is...
Oh no, the Irish version is married. No. The Irish version. Damn it! Oh, what was it? They had like a goofy little name for a vagina. I don't know. I mean, cunt was definitely used a lot.
Oh, to be fair, I was not asking what the Irish word for that was.
Oh, okay. Well then I don't know how we got here.
Just threw the C word out there just because you wanted to. You've been trying to work it in.
One of them edgy comics. Where Jesus. All right.
But
yeah.
Be named Johnny.
Just call women bombshells. Even when you are blatantly not one, like, or when they're blatantly not that.
Yeah.
Like, nothing makes a woman feel like sexier than being called a bombshell by an 80-year-old man. Like,
oh, he was 80?
Dude, he was so old. I mean, I don't think he was 80s, maybe 60s, but he was old. He was old.
God bless him.
Hell yeah, it was great. All right, well,
this has been Sweet Little Ladies.
I'm Raegan.
I'm Dana.
Bye-bye.